So let's talk about Trump and DeSantis. I know as a model and somebody that goes to University of Pennsylvania and you're about to graduate tonight, your last class, are you comfortable talking about this, or could you get an F if you give commentary on it? So let's get right into it. Trump holds wide lead over DeSantis among Georgia GOP voters in 2024 primary poll, despite the ex-president's endorsement flops against top state Republicans last year. Okay, so this is a story from The Insider that just came out. Let me read some of the highlights of this story here. So poll of likely Republican primary votes in Georgia found that former President Donald Trump leads former Governor Ron DeSantis 51 to 30 in a potential 2024 race. The survey also found that Trump retains an average with the party's most conservative voters, as well as those who are older and those who do not have a college degree. DeSantis performed better in the poll among Republican college graduates and was competitive with the Trump among higher income members of the party. The poll showed that 89% of GOP voters said the recent indictment of Trump by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office over his involvement in a hush money payment to the adult film actress Stormy Daniels shouldn't bar him from seeking the presidency again. What are your thoughts when it comes down to Trump and DeSantis for 2024?
I have a lot of thoughts just because I live here and this is all anyone ever wants to talk about for some reason. I think DeSantis is severely overhyped. I think people really want to move on from Donald Trump on both sides. Even those that love him, I think secretly dream about a time where they can go to work and not be asked about their opinion on Donald Trump. I think people think DeSantis is that guy because after 2016, people still don't understand why Trump won and really want someone to be the next something. And they think a Republican with 5% of Trump's personality could do that. They think DeSantis is the guy. I don't see it. I don't think this is going to last. I think the indictment, unfortunately, is probably one of the first indictments Trump's going to see. We saw what happened to his poll numbers after that, and I think that's what we're going to see for the next year. Okay,
so you're 27. Mm-hmm. You're about to finish, MBA. Is it you're getting your master's?
It's a master's. Yeah.
You're about to finish your master's. You're married. You're living in Palm Beach and New York, back and forth. What policies, what matters to you the most today when it comes down to a candidate? So if you were to say, at this age, where I am, who I am, this is what matters to me. I want to see this. What would those items be for you, those policies be?
Honestly, it's weird. If you asked me 6 months ago, I could list a bunch. And now I'm just like, let's not go into war with Russia and China. Like, I'm just scared for what the hell is going to happen to America. And I want whatever comes after Joe Biden to actually protect us from the world, which really wants us dead. Like, it's that simple. So I'd say whoever can keep America safe and keep a country in existence for my future children, that's number one right now.
What's two?
I don't think they're in order. I'd say foreign policy-wise, America first, very simple. When it comes to in the country, I think, for example, keeping something like abortion, like I consider myself pro-life, but I think keeping Americans kind of stable and not arguing over how far left or how far right we can be based on whose administration is in power, like that's a normal thing that we should be able to agree on. I think DeSantis is too far right on that, for example. We just saw that.
6 weeks.
Yeah. I think Trump actually said I could be wrong, when Texas passed the 6 week, the same rule, I think Trump said it was a little complex and he wasn't sure if he agreed with it. So I think it was 2021, I believe.
Yeah.
I think a balance is very necessary. I think people really want to see the right beat the left or the left beat the right, depending on, what side you're on. I just want a normal country. I want a balance. I want harmony. I want people not, punching each other in the street based on who they voted for in 2016. And I want to know that, people are safe, the kids are safe, the religious liberty is safe, just very basic common sense American values that I grew up with that I'm kind of scared are disappearing.
So let me read that story for you, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Florida lawmakers passed 6-week abortion law. This is a Wall Street Journal story. They have passed a bill banning abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy, a strict measure that indicates Republicans aren't backing away from efforts to curtail abortion access, even in the states where such efforts may carry political risk. A poll in March by the University of North Carolina found that 75% of Floridians oppose banning abortion starting at 6 weeks of pregnancy, albeit with no exceptions for rape and incest. The final hurdle for the bill is a signature from Governor Ron DeSantis, who has said he would sign legislation limiting abortion if it crosses his desk. If enacted, the bill would ban most abortions in the state and with limited exceptions, including for rape and incest and for certain medical emergencies. Since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade last June, roughly a dozen states have banned most abortions. So you're not with 6 weeks.
I think majority of Americans, if I'm not mistaken, are uncomfortable with that.
They are, yes.
Yeah, it's that simple. Americans don't support this, and you want an America that's living in harmony. And when issues are that serious and that nuanced and that emotional for so many people, I don't think the whole beat the left, beat the right, debate and wokeness and social media going viral, all these things that politicians are focusing on right now, I don't think that's necessary for an issue as serious as abortion.
You think that's going to be a big topic of discussion for 2024? You think the left's going to use that a lot?
Depending on who the nominee is, but yes, for sure.
Let's just say an energized guy named Joe Biden is the nominee, and he's going up against a Trump or a DeSantis. How different would it be?
I think if DeSantis is the nominee with the 6-week, ban, I think it would be more prevalent. But no, people are going to bring it up for sure. I think that was a big topic of the midterms. We kind of realized, I see it going on college campuses. I see what's happening with young people, and I'd say their top 3 issues, abortion is one of them. So,
colleges and universities.
Yeah.
They're talking about.
They're talking about abortion.
Yeah, well, don't forget, just during the midterms, it was supposed to be a red wave.
Yeah.
Right? For months and months and months, it's a red wave. This always happens. The incumbent president, when he's in there and there's a midterm election, and then what we saw happen was a red teardrop, basically.
Barely.
So they took over the House of Representatives. They didn't do anything with the Senate. And one of the major reasons why was this Dobbs decision overturning Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
There's speculation that Mitch McConnell manufactured this because he didn't want to take over. That's bullshit. I think this was uncalculated and a horrible decision by the Republicans. They should have waited until after the midterms to do this. So clearly this is a major issue, especially for women. Now, when it comes to DeSantis in Florida, this makes no sense to me, because if you're trying to win a primary, okay, you maybe appeal to the base. Okay, maybe that works for you. But we all know that basically the way that it works is during the primary, you appeal to your base, and then you pivot in the general election to appeal to the center. Nobody in America, there is no appetite for a 6-week abortion ban.
Yeah.
There's no appetite. We can have conversations about 12 weeks, 15 weeks, pro-life, pro-choice. Nobody. This is draconian at best.
Not nobody. It's not nobody. It's just not the majority. Yeah. So it's not a nobody thing when you say that. And the Mitch McConnell, you don't know if that did happen or not as a strategy. Nobody knows that. Nobody can sit there and say that wasn't the case. We're all speculating here. These are our opinions that we're given. It's not 100% certainty that we know one way or another.
Well, what percentage?
To do what is kind of weird is after what happened with Roe v. Wade, everybody in the country already knows where DeSantis stands. You don't need to do this. This is not a policy to attack to get the conservative people to say, oh, he's even more conservative than I thought. I don't know if this is the right direction to go, but he's choosing to go this direction.
Why do you think he's doing this? If you're his strategist, if you're his chief strategist, and you're saying, all right, you got to run to the right of center, but everyone's saying the reason that people like you is because you're quote unquote left of Trump, right of Trump. Why would you do this? This makes no sense to me.
Yeah. He also did it. Didn't he sign at 11 p.m. in a room somewhere? He knows it's not going to be popular. Yeah. He's not a stupid guy.
Yeah. Why would you do this, Pat? 6 weeks.
Why would he do this?
Yeah, why would he do this?
Okay. You're either doing this because it's truly a belief that you have, and let's just say that's what he really believes in, based on his values and principles. They're thinking this is going to get people that weren't there for him to support him, which I believe he already has that vote. Maybe it's a position to differentiate himself from Trump, to say, hey, I am not like Trump, while Trump is, casual with this, and he'll go up to whatever the number is, 12 weeks or, 16 weeks, 20 weeks. I'm not going past 6 weeks. Could be a way of him wanting certain conservative people to, say, okay, this guy's more conservative than we thought. There's so many different ways you can look at this here. I don't know strategically if this would be the policy I would touch if you want to become president after we saw what happened on midterms. I don't understand it strategically either. But like she said, he's not a dummy. He's a very smart guy. DeSantis, you know who DeSantis is? Here's who DeSantis is. You know how in a group text you're with your friends and your buddies and everybody's talking shit? Yeah. And you're sending texts and one guy sends a picture of this, and you know how we kind of send stuff we say stuff to each other with guys that maybe you wouldn't do it.
Are you referring to what is known as locker room talk?
Well, you want to call it locker room talk. I would do this. Oh, I would do this to her, and I would do that. Man, let me tell you, all this stuff like guys that talk. Yeah. He's the guy that would just do one emoji, LOL. but he would never
Engage.
say and engage. That's him.
Yeah.
So you have to know who he is, meaning this guy has been thinking about this since he was very young, that one day this is going to happen, and he's careful who he takes pictures with. He's careful. He's that guy, okay? This is not a Trump who's like, I don't give a shit, man. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. You don't like it? I don't know. This is so there's a very different style. So if that's how he's branding himself, and he decides to get away from that brand, we already have somebody that's away from that brand.
Yeah.
Your brand is the opposite of Trump, okay? Your brand is the safe guy. Your brand is this is the guy that we settle down with. We have that brand. He's very safe. By the way, I think he's a strong leader. I think in a way this also helps knowing he's probably careful with the decisions he's going to be making if he does become a president. I think he will make a good president. I think there's a part of him that he'll make a great president later on. It's just, whether people are ready with him being there today and whether this was a good move at a time like this. I don't know. You got 20 other issues you can pick and choose from to go from. You can choose the border. You can choose economy. You can choose COVID. You can go after more Fauci. You can do education. You can go after the trans. You can do so many different things. This one's going to upset some people on the right that are pro-choice. So
This is, and you said it.
there's a lot of closet pro-choicers, by the way, on the right.
Oh, 100%.
Tommy Lauren made her name or
Yeah.
lost her job with the
but
Blaze.
she's not closet, though.
No, she's
No, I
not
understand.
She's
I'm-
vocal.
No, I don't
Thinking,
think you
like-
understand what I'm saying. Like, there are people that will say, I'm pro-life.
Yeah.
But inside, listen, man, I kind of had to be pro-choice 7 years ago. Nobody,
Yeah.
no one
Exactly.
So there's a lot of closet pro-choicers that none of us know about.
Every
Yeah.
male politician ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But more,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So Elizabeth, if it comes down, so Trump, because you were involved with the campaign, right, in 2016.
yeah.
So you obviously saw it firsthand. Trump did not get a fair shake. I don't care what anybody says. Before he won, all the investigation from Russia, the collusion to draining the swamp, and the media just turning on him. Nobody's ever seen anything like that
Yeah.
because they all bowed down to the powers that be. If it came down to it right now, are you voting for Trump or DeSantis? If it comes down to that left or right,
Trump, DeSantis, I would vote for Donald Trump.
you would 100% go for Donald
Yeah.
Trump. And and besides all the the thing that we just talked about, what's your, just from what you've seen in the past?
Yeah.
Or are you just sticking to your guns because you're like he is for the people and he sacrificed
it's-
everything for us?
It's like such a basic, almost educated answer, but I hate politicians.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've just been around them so much, I cannot stand them. And he's a politician, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I feel
it's
you.
that simple.
What do you not like about politicians?
They're just rehearsed and much like we just talked about, the closeted pro-choice people. Like they're just all horrible. Like all politicians. Really,
They'll tell you what you want to hear. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. They'll compromise anything as
there's
long.
not a statement or like a decision that comes out of their mouth that doesn't come from like
Give us an
polling they were
example.
shown.
Give us an example of it. Of somebody.
I was just gonna say,
Like who would be the
Ron
poster
DeSantis.
child? You think so?
All of truly any politician.
What name did you say?
I said DeSantis, but that's only because we talked about now. Anyone
funny.
Like that-
before
You're
Donald
funny.
Trump, anyone after
Come
Donald
on.
Trump.
well, she's saying because he is a
Give me an
politician,
example.
like Ted Cruz. When you look at Ted
Yeah.
Cruz, he just says like he's the typical cutout board of a politician. He says what the people want to hear. You don't know who he really is as a human being. And she nailed it. I mean, Donald Trump was a businessman, but just said, you know what, I'm going to come in, I'm going to shake shit up.
I don't
and
think
he did.
I don't think Ted Cruz is likable, but I think he's a dog. Like,
he's-
I don't think he's like I always go back to if we were in high school, right? To see who the person was in high school. Okay. So if you go to high school with this guy, you kind of know who he was. Okay. If I go to high school with you, I kind of know who you were. You go to high school with Ted, you know who he was. You know who Ted was.
Yeah.
Who was Ted Cruz in high school?
Ted
Probably
Cruz-
on the debate team.
He definitely was
Probably
picked
getting
on.
picked
He was
on.
definitely
Very
getting picked
punchable
on.
face.
He got a wedgie a week. 100% somebody
He's
getting a wedgie.
probably guy that was so condescending,
Oh, yeah.
making people. You know who he is? Ted Cruz, a movie character. You ready? I'm gonna give it to you, and you're gonna go there.
Go ahead.
Ready? Ready?
Go ahead.
Good Will Hunting. How about them apples? He's that guy.
Oh, wow. Really?
He's that guy. Do you know
Really?
which guy I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
100%.
Oh, so you're
The
just
other
going to come
guy.
in here and you recite things that you read online and then boom, boom.
That's that
Got
guy.
you.
Yeah.
He
Got
is
you.
that smart, and he wants to make you look like a moron.
Yeah.
But guess what? He is still a dog.
100%.
He is still a dog.
But
He's-
but politician through and through.
I also understand what. No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think politician through and through, to me, is somebody that. I get what she's saying. There's a difference between a statesman and a politician. There's still a few of them around. You don't have to like them. There's still few of them around. There's some of them that'll sell their soul just to have their career and all of that.
Who would you say right now if you had to say politician, that's the
I
person?
think McConnell's a politician. I think McConnell's a politician.
Yeah.
I think he's for sure a politician. I think there's a lot of them out there, but I think he's a politician. Schumer's a politician. Pelosi's a politician. The problem with this world is the longer you're in this world, the more you start being one, and you don't even know it. It's that
Swamp
simple.
creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, if you and I lived in a house, okay, and in this house we're living with 20 different people. You and I are 22 years old, okay? We're expected to live in this house for 6 months. It's on the beach, okay? 10 girls, 10 guys.
Oh wow,
And it's a beautiful house, party house,
Jersey Shore type.
drinks on the house, everything on the house. If 19 of the guys in this house are snorting, they're doing they're rolling, they're doing everything, how long until you are tempted to join the club?
10:30 at night. 10:30 at first night.
The point is there's power and influence.
Of course.
So the longer you're in the swamp, you eventually
Become the swamp.
You become the swamp.
Yeah.
Which is why term limits should be a number one priority moving forward.
Did you see that guy give a speech? He was at the podium, and he's like, "You guys tell me if this is the NBA or the NFL players." You ever seen this speech?
Oh yeah.
He goes, "All right, guys," giving to an audience. He's like, "You tell me which sport you think this is, the NBA or the NFL?" He's like, 32 DUIs,
Arrest.
multiple convictions.
54 seconds. Go back
Right.
to it and play it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go
Watch
back to
this.
Yeah, this is a great. I know what you're talking
Watch
about.
this.
Oh, this is. Okay, I remember
Yeah.
seeing this.
This is kind of validates
Can you go on to this?
Elizabeth's
Which is
point.
it NBA or NFL?
Elizabeth, you ever seen this?
Go back so she can hear. Go
36
back.
have been accused of
By the way, I want you to guess before he reveals it whether you think it's the NBA or the NFL when he's done.
Play.
Okay.
and he
So
said,
don't
"Dad,
play the
guess
end.
which is it? Is it NBA or NFL?" 36 have been accused of spousal abuse. 7 have been arrested for fraud. 19 have been accused of writing bad checks. 117 have directly or indirectly been bankrupted at least 2 businesses. 3 have done time for assault. 71, I repeat, 71 cannot get a credit card due to their bad credit. 14 have been arrested on drug-related charges. 8 have been arrested for shoplifting. 21 currently are defendants in lawsuits, and 84 have been arrested for drunk driving in the last year. How many of you think NBA? How many of you think NFL?
Pause it, Rob.
Pause it. Which one do you think?
Elizabeth, you think it's the NBA or the NFL?
So you gotta say like United States Congress?
Yeah.
Play it.
Well, the answer
Got
is
it.
neither.
She know-
It's the 435 members of the United States
there you go.
Congress.
Yes.
Wow.
There you go. Proving your point.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think it's
Anyway,
simpler
Congress
than that.
Congress approval ratings actually just increased 5% over the last year to a whopping 23% approval.
There you go.
We're at 75% disapproval. Not great numbers.
No.
Their Q score.
What would it take to do term limits? I mean, because the people that they're in charge of saying
Yeah, the people that are voting
the
for
voting
the term
are the term
limits.
limits are the term limits. But don't you feel like that? I mean, that I agree with you 100%. Like I'm like when you see somebody like Joe Biden, obviously he's the worst one, but Nancy Pelosi actually speak, I'm like, you want to talk about embarrassed? I'm like, how?
They're all the
It's
same,
so
though.
sad.
You
No,
got
but Joe-
Chuck Grassley. He's 117 years old.
I thought he
Okay, from
died. I think-
Iowa. No, he died.
I thought he died, but he
Their
brought him
weekend
back.
at burning is his ass
Yeah,
out there,
yeah.
just coming in and voting.
He's a hologram.
You got Dianne Feinstein, 98 years old. Well, I mean, maybe that's generous. She might be 198.
Yeah, she's scared.
You got McConnell. You got Pelosi. You got Schumer. They're 80 plus years old running the country.
Oh, yeah,
But-
if Mitch McConnell's not an alien, then I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if age is the problem or just being in that Jersey Shore house too long. Like if
Yeah,
you start
that house,
young, you're
yeah.
still done. You should be out by 40. I
Yeah.
don't care if if you're 89 and you got an 84, that's fine.
At least that Jersey Shore house would be much funner than this.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
You got Snooki out there. You got.
what do you guys want to do? You want to play bingo? You know, like I don't know what they're doing on like Friday night. You know, but anyway, so
But I don't know, Elizabeth. I gotta give you a little pushback right here.
Okay, bring it.
My grandma's 92 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
I love my grandma to death.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want her running the country at this point.
Most
Pat's
likely,
dad is one of the wisest men I know. Gabriel Bet David.
He's listening right now, and
I
if I
love him
cuss,
to
he's going to
death.
yell at me.
he's your number one fan, by the way.
Is
I
his
love
name
him.
Gabriel?
I love him.
Yeah,
Gabriel.
his father's
That's
name is
my
Gabriel.
brother's name. Okay.
Really?
good, Yeah.
Mensch.
Gabriel Pipko?
Mensch.
Mm-hmm.
How old is Papa now?
Turned 81 last week.
Okay. And I mean this in the sincerest way. I don't want him running the country. I
Yeah.
want his son running the country.
Yeah.
Young, healthy, vibrant, dedicated. I want
No, I agree. with you.
Gabriel being the consultant.
I agree on
the
that. I was just
consigliere.
saying the age is not the issue.
Yes.
It's how long they've been there.
Yeah. So you
I
want,
think it's both.
so you're saying you
For
want
sure.
the
I
son.
think it's the 80s and 90s and 100-year-olds that are running the country.
so you want Hunter Biden to run the country
No,
and do
I don't want
crack
that either.
cocaine in the White House. Got it.
Okay, no, I don't
What
want
he's
that.
saying is he wants DeSantis. Adam wants
Yeah.
DeSantis or Newsom.
Even after the UFC fight, when
I
you said
don't-
you went
definitely
from
don't want
Trump to
Newsom.
here to here.
That was really cool when he walked in
That
the
was
UFC.
so
Trump.
sick.
I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of dope.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.